Good afternoon, good afternoon. Is there anyone in the house? Yeah? All right. As the brother said, this is our 6th annual cultural day, and I'm the first one live on stage, and this presentation is called The Conspiracy on the Young Black Mind. And the reason why we're doing this, because we've been watching the news, we've been reading various programs, like certain programs, and basically we're seeing that the youths, especially the minorities, the ethnic minorities as they call us, yeah, we're heading down a path of destruction. Now we hope there was going to be a bit more youngsters in the house. Hopefully as the class goes on and as the lectures go on, they'll be able to come, yeah? I'm just waiting for my computer wizard to set up the slides. Okay, how's everyone feeling? Have you been to this event before? First time? Okay, hopefully you're in for a good time. Hope you enjoy it. This lecture that I'm about to do can be perceived to be pretty intense. However, it's very necessary that you leave this lecture or this cultural day with certain impressions in your mind. As you're looking up now, you can see the word conspiracy, because remember the lecture is called Conspiracy on the Young Black Mind. And so what we've done, we've actually put up the word conspiracy up there so you can actually see what it means, because this is taken from a dictionary, but in reality it should be called a definitionary. Yeah, if you know the difference between diction and definitions, then you know that when you pick up a dictionary, you're not actually learning about diction. You're learning about definitions, the definitions of words. So this is why it's very important that now we, as what they call us, the ethnic minority, and I'm only using that as, for lack of a better word for the moment, yeah, we as the ethnic minority, we start to learn the meanings of words. Yeah, because we're under what we call a spell, and the spell has been cast with words. So as you can see, the word conspiracy is what they call a composite word. A composite word means that it's in two parts. Yeah? So you have the word con. Now the word con, as you can see, comes from the word contra. Yeah? And that is a Latin word. And that means to go against. And then you have the second part of that word, which is the word spiri. Yeah? This word spiri is from the Latin as well, and it means to breathe. Yeah? It's also taken from a word called spiritus, where we get the word spirit. And when you're talking about the spirit, you're talking about the personality. Yeah? So what am I trying to say when I say a conspiracy? I'm saying that this conspiracy has been breathed upon us. Yeah? Because the word spiri means to breathe. Yeah? When you look at the word respiration, that's your respirational system that deals with your breathing, deals with your lungs, etc. And then when you look at the word perspiration, that deals with when you're sweating. So it's dealing when you're growing and expanding or you're getting hot. So what we're saying here is that this conspiracy has been breathed upon us. And as we go through the lecture, we'll show you. Now, another breakdown of the word spiri is the word... Another breakdown of the word spiri, is the word personality. Yeah? Now, what's happened is that they've breathed their personality upon us. And when I say they've breathed their personality upon us, I'm saying that they've changed us from the way we were supposed to be acting into a way they want us to act. And when we act the way they want us to act, then they can control us. Yeah? Okay. So the next question is, if this is a conspiracy, who laid out this conspiracy? And here you can see the $1 bill. The reason why the $1 bill is up there, so everyone can see, and these are images you can take away in your mind today, is not, we don't want you to believe anything that I've said or anything that you're going to hear on the stage today. We want you to take it home, write it down in your books, whatever, and research it for yourself. So you can see what we're telling you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. Yeah? So now you can see the $1 bill. Yeah? The $1 bill, the symbolisms on the $1 bill have been put there by a group of people. Yeah? And these group of people we call the Luciferians. Now at the corner of the $1 bill where you see the number 1 at the bottom, I don't know if you can really see it. Oh, there it is. Thank you very much. Yeah. You can see an owl. Yeah? An owl. And if you know anything about an owl, yeah, owls are nocturnal. Who knows what nocturnal means? No one don't know? Oh, you can see in the nighttime, yeah? Okay, so is the nighttime light or is it dark? It's dark, yeah? So this owl can see in the dark, yeah? Now these people that we're talking about, they call themselves the Luciferians. Yeah, you might know them as the Illuminati. Yeah, the Luciferians or the Illuminati, yeah? This word Luciferian comes from the word Illuminati. They're both from the same word. So it's these people that have conspired. They've breathed upon us their unholy spirit. And they've made us act and talk and react contrary to our natural abilities, yeah? So, you can see the owl in the dark, yeah? This owl is symbolic, yeah, of a certain Illuminati or Freemasonic order, yeah? Now this order, yeah, was the ones that put the $1 bill together, and they also configured and put together the government of the United States of America. This is why when you look at the bottom of the eye of the pyramid, it says Novus Order Seclorum, which basically means New World Order. Yeah. So this is now when you look on the you watch the news or you listen on the radio, you can hear that a lot of the politicians that are going around today, they're talking about a new regime that they're bringing in. Yeah, the man who sits on top of the White House, he's talking about a new regime. The war on terror, the war on terror. If anyone knows about what the word terror really means, the word terror is a Greek word and it means earth. So when they're saying war on terror, what are they really saying? Yeah? Okay, that's something we can go into. Okay, so now you can see, yeah, that these people, they hide behind certain names. Yeah, they hide behind certain names and they control the media. Yeah, and this is how they've been able to breathe their unholy spirit on us. Yeah, if you go and you watch any TV program, that's what's happening to you. You're being programmed. Yeah, because your brain is like a holographic computer and it stores everything subliminally and consciously, or consciously and subconsciously. And what happens is that they make a lot of us store things in our minds subconsciously. So here you can see that the people that are initiating this Luciferian conspiracy, especially on the young black youths today, they hide behind certain media names like Warner Brothers or Capital or RCA, MCA and CBS. These are the main, or some of the main media companies who control the whole planet Earth today, because if you go to, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, you'll see on their TV programs that are being made by these people. If you go to Africa, you'll see programs that are being made by these people. So if they're able to get all around the planet Earth like that, they're able to control the way people think. If not control the way people think, suggest things to them, manipulate them. Do you understand? So here you see Warner Brothers, yeah, which basically means brothers, I warn you. Yeah, you have RCA, which is telling us that the evil people, yeah, they control record control in America, yeah, and MCA, and they manipulate communications in America. Do you understand? How do they do this? They do this through CBS, because they control the broadcasting systems in America. Or when you say America, we're talking about the whole planet. You understand? Yeah? Now these things are very important, because people are going to go away today and you're going to start seeing things on the TV channels and you're going to realize that you're being channeled. If you know anything about mediums or any of these kind of people, when they're getting communications from the spiritual world, they call it channeling. So when they want to give you message, they channel it into you. Do you understand? So we're talking about this conspiracy, this Luciferian conspiracy that has been going on for a very long time, yeah? When you look at who's in control, as you can see pictures of certain people. They're part of what we call your secret societies. And if you know who this brother is here, well, not brother, but if you know who he is, That weren't supposed to be funny. But anyway, if you see this character here, yeah, you'll see that he's a member of a certain family. He's from a certain bloodline, yeah? And you can see that he's a Freemason, yeah? And it was the Freemasons, as I said earlier on, that put your symbolisms behind the $1 bill together. They're the ones that built Big Ben. They're the ones that built the White House. They're the ones that actually print the money. They're the ones that who talk to people like the governor of the Bank of England to raise or de-lower the interest rates. They're the ones, as I said before, that control all the TV media companies. And it's these companies that portray a certain image, and our youngsters now are starting to emulate these images. You understand? I think the brother can slide another slide. Yeah? Here you can see a symbol. You can see the 5-pointed star, and you can see people making certain symbols with their hands. This symbol that you see, yeah, is basically what we call a Luciferian symbol. When we're saying Luciferian, you can hear the word Lucifer. Yeah, so these are people or disciples or family or followers of Lucifer. Today I'm not going to get into who Lucifer is or who he isn't. In the Bible we can see that he was the bright and morning star and he opposed the Son of God. So we don't need to go into who he is. We basically know who he is. But he's got followers on the planet Earth, or he's got a family on the planet Earth. He's got people on the planet Earth that do his bidding. And we have to know who they are so we can start educating our children. So our children can grow up with the right images of themselves and who they are, yeah? So now you can see famous people giving this same sign. Now you have to say to yourself, how is this, what's going on? Because when they come on ITN, or when they come on the news on BBC, they're talking and they're portraying themselves as they're kind and they're meek, and they just want to get into Saudi Arabia or Iraq to give the people freedom. We're really concerned about their freedom, democracy. When you hear the word democracy, you hear the word demon in it. Demon, democracy. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So they're spreading their propaganda. And we've been believing it for a very long time. As you can see, look, there they are again. And these are the people that we look up to. Well, when I say look up to, these are the people that have put themselves in certain positions, and we think that they're the authorities. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We think that they're the people in power. They haven't got the power. We've got the power because we're the populated, we're the most, there's more of us than there is, more than anyone else. So we've got to unify. But the only way we can unify is with the correct kind of information. And hopefully today, this lecture that I'm trying to do today, will turn people onto that path or make them inquire, make them start to ask questions so they know who's who on the planet Earth today. Yeah? So this conspiracy that we're talking about, yeah, is called the Luciferian conspiracy. And the part of this conspiracy that we're aimed on today is the conspiracy on the young black mind. Now, when did this conspiracy start on the young black mind? It starts as soon as two adults or teenagers nowadays, yeah, because babies are having babies, yeah? Yeah, it starts when they come together, yeah, and they procreate for whatever reason, out of lust, out of whatever, you understand? And then a baby's inside the womb, the baby starts to grow, yeah? Now what's happening is that a lot of the females, yeah, that are having babies nowadays, they haven't been given the proper skills. They haven't been given the proper information. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't know what food is good for them. They don't know what food is bad for them. They don't know what kind of music is good for their child. They don't know what kind of music is bad for their child, because we're living in a modern society, yeah? And this modern society tells us that if we start to look on ourselves or look on our ancestors or look on anyone of any form of culture as someone being a positive role model, we're looked upon and scorned upon and looked down upon, yeah? So what happens is that when the baby's in the womb of the mother, I don't know, the mother might be going through certain pressures. Every morning she wakes up, she gets a bill. She might still have to go to work. Maybe her and her partner not getting on. So this causes turmoil within the child. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Also, you've got a lot of pollution in the air. We've got a lot of electrical equipment in our houses now that also affects the fetus of the baby. So this baby's born, yeah, and remember, the baby is in the womb of the mother. Who can help me? Is the womb of the mother, is it dark or is it light in there? It's dark. Now, in the womb of the mother, that baby who's in a state of darkness, yeah, was that baby in a state of anguish? Or was the baby in a state of calmness? Because it was dark and tranquil, right? But what's the first thing that the baby sees when it comes out of the mother? Light. What do you think that does to the baby? That kills millions and millions of brain cells. It busts up the eye, hurts the retina, the cornea, the iris. But a lot of us as Nubians, we don't really check that out. We think it's normal. Sometimes they say to you when your baby's born, oh, we're just going to take the baby in the other room just to make sure that the baby's all right. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have no slides, but we have certain proof and evidence where you can see certain people in the hospital who actually have tattoos of the devil. Now, I don't want no tattoos of the devil bringing my child out into the world. I don't know about you lot. You understand? Because that shows you they've got a certain mentality and they're thinking on a certain level. Yeah? So the baby comes out of the womb of the mother in trauma. This is one of the reasons why the first thing the baby does when it comes out is what? Cry. In Africa, when we used to have children in Africa in our natural environment, the children never used to cry. Because they came out of one state of darkness and they entered another state of darkness. Because we always made sure that our children were born in a dark environment. Who's seen the film Roots? Yeah? What happened to the little baby when the baby was born? What did his father do to him or her? That's right. What did she do? That's right. So the baby was born in the dark environment. Let's take it. This is what we call 3 stages of darkness. This is what we call right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. The baby was in the womb of the mother, which is 1 stage of darkness. The baby was born in a dark environment, which is another stage of darkness. So it came out very peacefully. And then the father took the baby and lifted it up to the stars. There's a scientific reason behind that, which I'm not going to go into. You understand? But the point of the matter is, that was the 3rd state of darkness. And the baby was supposed to be born and grown in a... Well, as you can see, that baby was very knowledgeable. And this is how we were when we was born in these kind of environments. You understand what I'm saying to you? Under our system of growing and living, etc. Yeah? So the baby's born into the light, and the light blinds, the light hurts. Do you understand? Because if anyone's sleeping and they get a torch shone in their face, I'm sure they're not going to be very happy. Yeah? Okay, so the baby's born in this dark environment, and now the baby, maybe the mother, doesn't know who she is and where she's coming from. Maybe she's in a state of, I don't know, Alice in Wonderland, where she's trying to emulate somebody else's image. She's not living in her image and her likeness. You understand? So she doesn't really know what's going on. So when the baby starts growing up, maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, she wants to give the baby, I don't know, some kind of formulated milk. Yeah, give the baby sweets. Let the baby sit down in front of MTV. You understand? Give the baby the 3 Little Pigs to read, or Cinderella, or any of these kind of make-believe fairy tales where they're looking at images that are not in their image and their likeness. It's very important that we start to give our children images of themselves or images of black people, Nubian people, you understand, that have done great things. Because once they see that, they know that there's something they can grow into. But if we keep on giving our children images of people that are not of themselves, then after a while, it starts to breed a mentality where they think, well, okay, we're just second best anyway, so it doesn't matter if we smoke drugs or we shoot people, or it doesn't matter because we see ourselves as second-class citizens anyway. No one in the media, there's no proper media representation for us as black people in the West right now. I mean, if there is, please let me know. So we all agree? Well, that's cool. Yeah? So we start going to their schools, and if you know anything about the word school, the word school is really a Hebrew word. Shul, yeah? And it means hell. Now, if you take that into consideration, and you say you're sending your children to school, where are you really sending them? I'll leave that to you to work out, yeah? But this word shul means hell, yeah? And this is where our children start to get indoctrinated, yeah? They're told how to spell. They're given images of other people, not of their own image, yeah? So they're taught how to be put under this spell, and it's placed under the number 3. You have the 3 blind mice, the 3 little pigs, the 3 little bears, Goldilocks and the 3 bears. You see Goldilocks, well, you got the 3 bears, yeah, Goldilocks. You got all these superheroes that they can grow up into. Can they grow up into these superheroes? You see, we all know Spider-Man, Superman. You understand? So we grow up, they're given these images of people that are not in their image and their likeness. And so they started to grow up with a negative thought pattern. You understand? They're taught to spell, yeah? So it's in the words, yeah? Now, I want you to try and help me out, yeah? The alphabet, yeah? Who knows the first 3 letters of the alphabet? A, B. I want an adult to say A, B, C. Okay, tell me a word that begins with the letter C. It's not a trick, not a trick. Snake. That's very good. Pardon? Corn. Corn. Okay, what else? Cat. Cold. Calm. Now, let me ask you a question, yeah? Cat, calm, could, case, whatever. Does that start with C? Are you saying sud or sat? Say the alphabet again. A, B, C. Yeah, now, this is what we call a definition or a program. It shuts down the child's mind. Yeah, because there's a few little children here. I've got children. I'm sure people that have got children are not here. The one thing our children do as they're growing up, what's the one thing they do? Ask questions. Why this? Why that? Dad, Mom, how's this happen? Blah, blah, blah. They ask you questions that you can't answer. Yeah? Now, this means they've got an inquisitive mind because their mind is like a sponge. They want to soak up information. Now, if we're teaching them the alphabet, yeah, A, B, C, but any word, most of the words that we can think of that begin with the letter C sound or begin with the letter K. So something is happening into their minds. Something is happening to them. It's brain dead in them. There's a survey, or I don't know the word for it, but they've done this formula where they analysed young black children before they go to school or as they go into school. And as they get into school, they're very bright, they're very intelligent. But as they start to get older, something happens to their mentality. Do you understand? Where they start to shut down. Yeah? And because they're starting to shut down, they find the educational system boring. Now, I'm not saying do not send your children to school. I'm saying when you send your children to school, when they come home from school, make sure you're there to input what you've got to input. Do you understand? Because what's happening right now, when a lot of the children go home, one of the first things they do is switch on the TV. That's one of the first things they do. Now, because we've got like satellite TV, they've got all these different cartoon channels, etc., etc., etc. And you'll find out on a lot of these cartoon channels, you have stuff like Buffy the Vampire. Now, who knows what a vampire is? For lack of a better word, a vampire, yeah, is a devil. Yeah, I'm just using the word devil because everyone's familiar with that word. Yeah, it's a disagreeable being. You understand? So, whoever makes Buffy the Vampire Slayer, whoever the programmer is, or the director, or the producer, he's got a certain thought that he wants to impregnate in your child's mind. Now, you've got to ask yourself the question, who is this person? Why would he want to do this? Earlier on, we just showed you symbols of who we're calling the Luciferians. And we said to you that the Luciferians are the ones that are controlling the media. Now, when we turn on the media, yeah, we see pure programs about werewolves. And these are children's programs about people like, what's his name? Harry Potter. One of the biggest films that ever happened. Harry Potter made a woman millions of pounds. Yeah? Lord of the Rings. Very gruesome film, which they're advertising for young children. Yeah? And I'm sure a lot of us sitting in front of me right now, I'm sure we know we can reel off X amount of films or programs that are supposed to be for children. Look at Scooby-Doo. I grew up on Scooby-Doo. A lot of us grew up on Scooby-Doo. But who is Scooby-Doo fighting? Ghosts. Yeah? Demons. Yeah? But they've made it fair seeming. They've made it like it's only a cartoon. It doesn't really matter. Who grew up on Roadrunner? And, I don't know, Tom and Jerry and Sylvester the Cat, where they're beating up people, or they're getting licks. And then when you watch your children playing, they're emulating what they're seeing on the TV. Now, it might just be a cartoon. It might just be done in fun. Do you understand? But it's having a negative effect on our children. Now, I'm not saying, let me just reiterate, I'm not telling people not not to let their children watch or what to let their children watch. I'm saying just monitor it. All I'm doing now, yeah, is I'm trying to open up your mind. So now when you see things on the TV or you hear things on the radio or you see things in the magazine, you'll start to say, wait a minute. That's not agreeable, that's disagreeable. We have to start giving our children images of themselves. It's very important. Did someone say something? Can you turn off the phone, please? There's no telephone conversations in the class. If you want to have a conversation outside, respect. Yeah? Okay, so our children now are being brought up or grown up on these TV programs. They're being brought up in the school system. You understand? Is there any more slides? Just slide it through, bro. Yeah? They're being given other people's cultures, yeah, to go and check out. Yeah? Like, they'll have Diwali. I don't know when Diwali is, what month it is, but in certain schools, yeah, certain multicultural schools, yeah, they'll have the Diwali holiday. Now, I'm not saying there's anything against that, you understand? But they don't have Kwanzaa. They don't have any holidays that we as Africans celebrate. Do you understand? When they teach our children about Egyptians, you'll see certain slides, they'll show the Egyptians as not how the Egyptians look, basically, what I'm trying to say. Yeah? All right, you see, like, these kind of looking Egyptians. You'll see, like, Elizabeth Taylor looking Egyptians. You'll see, like, you know what I'm talking about, innit? You'll see, like, Charlton Heston coming down from the mountain kind of looking Egyptians. You understand what I'm saying? You won't see dark, black, African Egyptians. I beg your pardon? No, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. People know what I'm saying. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you don't say that has most effect. That's subliminal. I learned that off the TV. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah? So, they're not learning nothing about themselves. They're not learning about their greatness as ancient Egyptians. They're not learning that they're the ones that built the pyramids. They're the ones that taught all the sciences on the planet Earth. They're not learning that they're the ones that gave birth to all the religions on the planet Earth. They're not teaching them these things. Why is that? Because they know that once the children see themselves in a form of greatness, they see themselves in a culture that had mathematics, that had science, that had education, that had astronomy, they're going to start to say, you know what, I want to be like him. Because a lot of our children see Superman and they see Batman, and once Batman and Superman's finished, they get themselves a cape and they're running around, Batman, and That's true, that's reality, you understand? Now imagine if they start to see people like, I don't know, Mentu Hotep, a big, strong, dark-skinned black man that was controlling like the whole of Africa, basically. They'll start to go up and say, you know what, I want to be a ruler like him. And when they go to school, they want to do the best in school that they can, because their daddy and mummy told them that once they get all the education in their head, then they can be like Mentu Hotep, or they can be like Haru, or they can be like Khonsu, or they can be like these great Egyptian deities. Flick the thing for me, brethren. Yeah, they can be like these people, these beings, their ancestors. Do you understand? That done great things. That done great things and taught these people, yeah? So they taught things like Rome, Romulus and Remus, yeah? And this society that we're living in today, and we're loving it, yeah? Well, this society that we're in today, yeah, comes from the Romans, Romulus and Remus. And at the bottom of that, you can see two human beings, and I don't know, that's a wolf. And they teach our children that long time ago, once upon a time, yeah, we've all heard that saying, innit? Once upon a time, yeah, there was two brothers called Romulus and Remus, and they got kicked out of their house for whatever reason, and they went into the jungle or the forests, and they came across a carnivorous, meat-eating wolf, and she saw them and said, oh, look, these are humans. Let me mother them. Let me be their surrogate mother. Yeah, and our children are taught this. Yeah, and this is a myth. This is not a fact, but our children are taught these things like it's true. Yeah, like Christopher Columbus. You know Christopher Columbus found America, innit? What? Christopher Columbus didn't find America? Why'd you say that? He got lost. But when I was going to school, yeah, and in American history, they say that Christopher Columbus discovered America. So is that true or false? But are they teaching our children that? Well, some of us children are fortunate enough not to be learning it, But a lot of us that are in the mainstream educational system, these are the kind of things they're teaching our children. They're teaching our children things like, I don't know, King Arthur and Robin Hood and King Alfred and the Round Table. All these things are myths. They're not true. You understand? Just now, flick back the last one. So our children are growing up and they're being incorporated into these holy days. Holy days. And here you can see good old Father Christmas. Yeah, who gave us a lot of presents when we was growing up. Came down the chimney, yeah, and gave us presents. That's what we was taught as we was growing up. And you know the sad thing about that? Who taught us that? Our parents. Now, was that the truth or was it a lie? A lie. So our parents unknowingly taught us a what? A lie. And you know what? We accepted that lie, yeah? Because a lot of us growing up believed that Father Christmas is going to come down. All we got to do is be good all year, and Father Christmas is going to come down and he's going to give us presents. By us accepting that first lie, guess what? It opened us up for all the rest of the lies. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this Satan or Santa, you can decide who he is. I'm not going to say subliminally. Yeah? These are kind of the holidays that we are starting to, or our children are starting to participate in. Even if we don't celebrate it, when they're going to school, their friends are celebrating it. And you know there's something called peer pressure, which is very, very strong. You understand? So it's very hard for them not to want to participate. But we, as Nuwaubians, we have what we call Children's Day, where we flip the meaning. And other black organizations, they have Kwanzaa, where they flip the meaning of Christmas. Do you understand? We're not saying don't celebrate it. We're saying flip the meaning. Give your children positive images to look upon. It's very, very important. Yeah? Other forms of something worship. Halloween. You understand? All these things are the fabric of this society. Now you've got to ask yourself, yeah? If it's the fabric of this society, who are the people that are controlling this society then? Who are they? Do they have our children's best interests at heart? And remember, this is a conspiracy on the young black mind, because they want our children to grow up having a certain image in their mind. And that image is anything other than self and kind. Anything other. As I said before, they can give them Roman images. You can have Hindu images. You can be Bruce Lee. You understand? But don't go back to Egypt, or don't go back to Africa. West, north, south, central. Don't gravitate or don't identify yourself with any African tribe. Don't do it. You understand? Because if you do it, something's going to happen in your mind. You're going to start realizing how great you once were and how great you can be. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? So now, as our children are growing up and they're in the school culture and they come home and they turn on MTV Crack. Did I say something wrong? What is it? MTV bass. But in the 70s, they used to call crack or freebase. So what does bass do to you when you take it, you inhale it? It intoxicates you. What does MTV bass do to you? It starts to intoxicate you. Intoxicate the children. They start seeing images, start seeing the glamorous Bling Fashion lifestyle, and they want to emulate that. They don't want to go to school no more. They don't want to listen to their parents. They don't want to go to church. They don't want to go to the mosque. They want to go to the rave. They want to start running up and down on the roads because peer pressure. Do you understand? They see the glitter, the diamonds, the sparkling stones, and yeah, he looks like he's living a great lifestyle. But what they don't know, as I said before, it's like your CBS, your MCA, your Warner Brothers. It's your people that control the industry that want to portray a certain image. So they make certain rap stars or R&B singers, they make them become famous. As long as they're talking about things that are negative, they'll push them to the forefront. Man like, I don't know, 5 cents. You know what I'm talking about, yeah? Or No Sense. So let's just call him No Sense. Yeah? That guy there, yeah? Who promotes things like gun crime. Yeah? If you know anything, before his album that dropped, he was all in the Daily Mail, the Evening Standard. yeah, this character is an ex-drug dealer, he's shot people, he's done this, he's done that, etc., etc., etc. He's not to be listened to. What were they doing? They were advertising him. Yeah? I can remember back in the day, as I was growing up, one day I turned on the news and I saw a man smoking a crack pipe. And I said to myself, what is that? But then I was being educated. You understand what I'm saying to you? A lot of us growing up, especially the young black males, a lot of us have seen Scarface. We were being educated. Educated to live a certain lifestyle. Because if you know anything about Scarface, he came into the country and he was a rebel and he couldn't get into the system, so he decided to do his own thing, sell drugs. Like our young black brothers. The educational system don't want to look after them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? For whatever reason, their parents can't really look after them. They think that the only people that can look after them is their peers. And the only way to make it in life, yeah, is to, you know, sell drugs, carry a gun, act bad. You understand? Emulate all the things that you see on the MTV base and all these other negative music channels. You understand? All these films that they've given us to watch and blowing up, like Menace from Society, which was one of the biggest black films. Yeah, Boys from the Hood. You know, there's X amount of them. Yeah, but this is an image that they was portraying for us to emulate. Yeah. Now I'm looking at the time. I've only got 5 minutes left. Yeah. There's a few more slides up here. Yeah. I hope people can get the gist of what I'm talking about. Yeah. There is a conspiracy now. I've gone into a bit about what the conspiracy is. I'm going to take a few questions very, 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 very quickly and very, very shortly. But what we're trying to do, yeah, we're trying to give our children, yeah, escape route. And that escape route, yeah, is basically knowledge of self. You understand? Knowledge is the key. Because once we can unify mentally, we're automatically unified physically. You understand? And a lot of the things that have been portrayed in the media, etc., have been things that have been portrayed to cut us up into pieces. Yeah, they've used various tactics. They've used gangs, they've used drugs, they've used whatever area you come from. You understand? They've used religion, they've used various tactics, yeah? They've given us Operation Trident, that I personally believe is not trying enough. Trident. You understand? Well, it sounds funny, but, you know, that's because it's the spell. Remember earlier on I said it's all about the words. Words are very important. Yeah? There's a word called etymology. Yeah, who can say that? Who knows what it means? I know you know. Yeah? Etymology is the science of words, the roots of words. This is one of the things they didn't teach us when we was going to school. We have to start knowing what words mean. Once we start knowing what words mean, we'll start to be able to break it down. And once we can break down what the words mean, we'll start to laugh, like the sisters are laughing when I said Operation Trident, because they're not trying. Yeah, our black brothers, black sisters, even the youths, don't matter what color they are, Greek youths, Indian youths, all around England right now are killing themselves. And Bush, Blair, all these kind of people, they don't care. They've got their own agenda. And guess what? All of you sitting in this room, you're not part of their agenda. So if you're not part of their agenda, what are you going to do about it? I beg your pardon? How? Oh, I thought he was going to say something different. How are you going to unify? How are you going to unify? Pardon? Okay, well, the best way to unify, yeah? The best way to unify is through something called right knowledge. Because right knowledge will teach you the facts. Once we all come together with facts, guess what? All the myths and the beliefs and the spookism and the hocus pocus and the once upon a time and happily ever after and I'm going to make it in the future, all that's going to go away. Because we're going to start realizing that we are our brothers and sisters keepers. And the only way we're going to make it is if we all make it. You understand? Now, I've got about 2 to 3 minutes left, yeah? Then the next class is going to start very soon. Does anyone have any questions? I'm sorry, I don't take anyone under the age of, how old are you? 7. All right, anyone under the age of 7, I don't answer their questions. Anyone who's still going to junior school, in other words, any adults, do you have any questions? No, because if not, I'll get off the stage and that's it. Yeah? Okay then. I hope you enjoyed the first presentation, yeah? Conspiracy of the Young Black Mind. And these are some of the images that we've got to start portraying to our children. Yeah, because these beings that you can see, yeah, were what we call gods. Yeah, they had Goma, they had the Uz, and they had the Dabur. Yeah, these are 3 Hebrew words. Yeah, strength, wisdom, and beauty. And this is what they possessed. You understand? And they were able to breathe this on all different cultures. They breathed it on Moses' people, and they became the Judahites. They breathed it on, I don't know, Jesus' people, yeah, the Christians, and they became the Christians because Jesus was taught in Egypt. And then they breathed it on Muhammad's people, and they became Muslims. So Africa is the mother and father of all religions. And all of you sitting here are the descendants and the ancestors of the mother and fathers of all religions. You sitting down here are a great people. Yeah? You're so great that you have something called melanin. Yeah? And you don't hear... when was the last time you heard the word melanin on the news? Who's ever heard it on mainstream TV? Or when they're creating a pill to do what? To tan themselves. Okay, so they use the word melatonin. But apart from that, have we ever heard it? No. There's a reason why. It's a conspiracy. Yeah? So, I hope you enjoyed the class. Yeah? Soon there's going to be a next brother coming up. And if you do have any questions, because you were shy, yeah? If you see me walking up and down, feel no way to stop me and ask me, yeah? Thank you very much.
How's everybody? Fine? You know fine is a conditioned answer, don't you? If you walk up to somebody and you ask them how they're feeling and they say fine, that's a conditioned answer. Doesn't tell me anything. Doesn't tell me if you're well, doesn't tell me if you're unwell. So I'm going to ask you again, how are you feeling? That's better. I want to hear something like fantastic. I want to hear something like good. I want to hear like I'm healthy. Everybody here healthy, right? Okay. Better. Could be better, okay. Well, at least you have your health, because that's the most important thing. Before I go into my talk, the brother, Dr. Elliot Harding, mentioned about the master teacher, who we refer to in this day and time as Dr. Malachi Z. York. And for those that don't know, everybody knows that Dr. York has been teaching right knowledge, or what we call today Nuwaubian, since the year 1970 openly, and to a selected group of people since the year 1967. Okay, and the purpose of his teachings was to break what we refer to as the mental spell of ignorance, which is why I first started off explaining to you about how we've been conditioned. And the conditioning is in the spelling of the words, in the education system, in the media. Okay, much of the things that we're exposed to, that we have been conditioned to think and feel a certain way. We have been conditioned to think and feel and made to feel that we are inferior to ourselves. And this was done intentionally. So, Reverend Dr. Malachi Z. York, if I'm talking to a Christian, or As-Sayyid Al-Imam Isa Hadi al-Mahdi, if I'm talking to a Muslim, or Dr. Malachi Z. York, as he's now known today, or Chief Back Thunderbird Eagle, if I'm talking to a Native American. But a lot of people always ask the question, why does he always keep changing his name? These names are, first of all, the same name, but in different languages. And these names represented the various schools of thought that we went through as the Nuwaubian nation. And the reason why he took us through those different schools, because it was necessary to reach the various different levels that our people were on. Thus, if I was talking to a Christian, he would refer to as Reverend Dr. Malachi Z. York. If it was in the Islamic school, when we're engaging with a Muslim, he was referred to as Sayyid al-Imam Isa Hadi al-Mahdi, the founder of the Ansarullah community, etc., etc., etc. So these schools were necessary to take us up to a certain point to prepare us for this day and time which we're in now. It's often been said that we are in the last days. A quote, a phrase that people get from the Bible. You with me? And they refer, more in particular, they're referring to the book of Revelations. And when you break down the word revelation, it simply means to reveal. What does the word reveal mean? The word reveal means to be made known. So we're here as the Nuwaubian nation to make this information known to the people, because they trap you with information. And information is designed to keep you in form and in spell and in control and in line. Thus, it is necessary for one to come from outside of that and give you something referred to as outformation, to take you outside of the spell and to take you outside of their realm of control. That is why the reason why we are here today, presenting on this forum to bring forth this information to you. So, as a student, one of the many students of the Reverend, talking to a Christian, of Dr. Malachi Z. York, I'd like to first of all, before I start my lecture, thank you all for coming here and being here. And you are privileged to be receiving this divine information. Okay, before I start, does anybody have any questions from the last speaker before I start? Was everybody okay? You didn't lose, you know where we are, right? Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we're talking about the last days and times we're in. Now, a lot of people get that quote from, as I said earlier, in the Bible, especially when you go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, where a person who they refer to as Jesus makes a prediction about the things that will happen in the last days and times, where you see the calamities that's taking place on the planet, like the freakish weather. Okay, well, like the disaster just happened the other day with the earthquakes, the black-on-black crime, etc., etc. All these things are happening in this day and time for a reason. And all the information that we've been exposed to was designed to prepare you for this thing that the establishment refers to as your New World Order. Now, your New World Order, even though they call it new, is actually an old plan. It's something that they've been in the plan and making for thousands upon thousands of years. That's why that's why you have people promoting like your black-on-black crime, the music industry, the media. All this information is designed to get you to think a certain way so that they can bring in this New World Order. But what they don't tell you is that the same people that's causing all the confusion and the chaos on the planet, the reason why they're doing that intentionally so that you'll get fed up and want a solution to all the problems that's taking place on the planet. So therefore, you'll actually vote for this New World Order to come in, not realizing that the same people that's giving you the solution is the same people that's causing the problem in the first place, so that you vote for their solution so that they maintain control. That is what it's about at the end of the day. They realize now that since the year 1970, the planet has been getting warmer, warmer, and warmer. You see it in the freakish weather. You see it like today. We're in February, right? The January just passed. December was passed. It was cold, but it wasn't as cold as it should be. For example, how comes it doesn't snow anymore? Right? That's a question to be asking. How comes we don't see snow no more? This is England, right? Black people always complain, England cold. England is cold, but it stopped snowing. That's the reason, because the planet has been getting warmer since the 1970s. We're now into something that we refer to as the sun cycle, which the book of Malachi, chapter 4, refers to as having healing in its wings. Now, the beings that lack the necessary amount of melanin to survive underneath the sun will end up catching a thing called skin cancer, which will eventually kill them and destroy them. This is what is referred to in the book of Malachi, chapter 4, when the sun of righteousness will come with healing in its wings. Now, the son that they're talking about is not the S-O-N son, as in a male child, but when you go into the Hebrew and you look up the word they're talking about is Ra. Not Ra'ah as in disagreeable, but Ra as in the sun, as in S-U-N, the sun that you see in the sky. This sun is going to come with healing in its wings. Now, that is then you know of the day and time you're in, that it is our time for God's people, as they say in the scriptures, to rise. Okay, and the way how they do that today is with the doctrine that Malachi York is teaching. And it is necessary that you learn and you take the time and you study things like about your melanin. Melanin is more than just the pigment of your skin. Every living creature that is alive today has melanin. Otherwise, they will not be able to survive. Plants, trees, etc. is one of the basic chemicals of foundation of life on this planet. So it's not just so melanin. They teach you to pollute or toxify your melanin by improper diet. You know what the biggest drug addiction is? Sugar. There you go. Sugar. What's the other one? Flour. What's the other one? Wheat. It's another S word. Salt, there you go. All right, now those are drugs that they have you concentrating on crack and cocaine and heroin, which is a market that they control, by the way. Okay, they have you thinking on that, but the biggest drugs that they have us hooked to is your sugars and your salts. Okay, and sugar, they put it in everything. Okay, you can't get away with it. They put it even in everything, from your toothpaste to your soap to everything. Sugar's in everything. Okay, so we're addicted to sugar. What's the point I'm getting at? The point is that by overeating and overindulging in these things, yeah, we toxify and damage our melanin molecule. Okay, and that is why you hear stories of black people now catching skin cancer. And they'll tell you, oh, okay, you now have to go and buy their suntan lotion. You as a dark-skinned black person putting suntan lotion, going to the beach, when God's already given you a natural tan. Why are you putting on a fake tan when you already have a natural one there? Okay, yes, it is true black people can catch skin cancer, but the reason why you catch skin cancer is because your melanin is toxic, not because you can't take the sun. You are, as the original beings here on the planet Earth, you are designed to take the rays of the sun. You bathe in the sun, it regenerates you, it gives you life. It helps you, it heals you, if you know how to utilize your melanin properly, which is not in their interest to teach you. You have to realize that the slave master is not going to give anything or anything necessary to free the slave. It's in his interest to keep you as a slave. Slavery's still going. Don't think that slavery ain't done. Slavery's still going. But what they're doing now, they play the mind game on you. Earlier on, the brother, Dr. Peter Adams, spoke about the programming. They call it a television program. Okay, what do you do with a program? You program people. So the television program is designed to program your mind to think a certain way. Just like the education system is designed to educate your mind to think a certain way. You with me? We refer to it as educated dictation. Now, we're not saying don't go to college or don't get a degree. The master's already explains that if you get an education, then get the best you can get, because it is needed. But realize and understand that that's not necessarily going to guarantee you your freedom. Okay? Well, the way how you're going to get your freedom is by doing what every leader that ever came to us has always said. We must unite, which is the hardest thing to do in this day and time. Okay, because with so many different temptations, so many different things that's happening on the planet, it is so hard for us to just unite. And that is done again. That's designed to make it, that's why they give you words like Nigerians and Jamaicans and Ghanaians and Bajans and all these other names that you can think of to keep you divided. So you have the Jamaicans that don't like the St. Lucians, which don't like the Barbadians. You have to understand that when the Caucasian looks at you, he sees you all as one people anyway. He doesn't see you as Jamaican, Nigerian, African. He sees you all as niggers. Okay, that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing in his world. That's all he sees you as. But they have us conditioning to think that way. And that makes the job harder for us to unite. Because why is so much emphasis on us not uniting? The reason being is because once we start uniting and we start taking control of ourselves, start controlling our own destiny, then they lose control and they lose power. They can only stay in power as long as you remain ignorant. That is the reality of the situation. So you have the people here on this power. Who are these people? They go by many names. One of their names that are more commonly known as is the Illuminati, which simply means light bearer. Okay, and they are the ones that are bringing in this new world order, which they've been trying to bring in for many thousands of years. But it is a gradual process. Okay, and what they do is the new world order is designed for them to stay total control, total total dictatorship. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, and what you see is that when it affects you, like things like your ID cards, which they're about to bring in. Okay, making it compulsory. What the Illuminati do is they do tricks, like they set up certain situations, like your World Trade Center, okay, and then say, well, okay, because of the terrorism of the World Trade Center, okay, we now have to implement new security precautions, like your ID cards, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so people say, okay, we'll go for it because we want to feel safe. We're tired of all the chaos that's taking place on the planet. We want to feel safe, secure, and free. not realizing that the people that's causing all the crime on the planet is the ones that's giving you their solution, that they stay in control. That is the double type of game that they're doing. Okay, so now, how are we going to escape this new world order? Well, first of all, the master already broke down is that you're already in it. From the time you got a national insurance number, you're in it. Okay, they got your number. From the time you got a national insurance number and the tax code, you're in their system. Okay, so now what we have to do is set up our own system. Okay, which you cannot do on your own. Okay, it has to be a group of us that unites. This is why Master Teacher set up a land that we once had called Tamaray. And Tamaray will be born again in the West. Okay, this is why it was necessary for us to have our own land, our own schools, our own food, our own dress code. This is why it is necessary for us to make that journey home and unite amongst ourselves, set up our own businesses. It's not just, it's more, the problem has gotten so bad now, it's more than just a simple black thing, okay? It's now gotten to the point that if we don't unite, we are not going to survive. That is that serious, and that is the day and time that we're in, where it's now got to the point where we have to do this in order to survive the calamities that's about to take place on the planet. Like, they tell you about wars and rumors of wars. Okay, they're now turned, if you watch the media now, they're now getting to go after what? Iran? They're done with Iraq, now they're going after Iran. And Syria. What else? Who else are they going after? Everybody. So now, the question you have to ask yourself, well, once they've done with Saddam Hussein, who was their boy, by the way, okay, and Osama bin Laden, okay, now, remember, these people have the X amount of technology on the planet. The best form of technology, they have it. They've got satellites that could zoom in on the pin of a needle all the way from space. Yet they can't find this Osama bin Laden guy. Right? Now, first of all, let's analyze this for a minute. Before September the 11th, remember, Osama bin Laden is supposed to be a worldwide #1 wanted terrorist, right? Correct? According to what they tell us. Now, how many people here had even heard of Osama bin Laden before September the 11th? How many of you even heard of him, the name? One? Only one person. Personally, I hadn't even heard of him. Okay? So since September the 11th, boom, all of a sudden, we're after this Osama bin Laden guy. Now, remember, they've got the most advanced technology on the planet. Up to now, they still can't find him. Somebody's playing games. Somebody's playing games. Because you know, as well as I know, if they really want to find you, they can find you. You gotta say, you try not paying your rent, or your gas bill, or your parking ticket, they're finding you. So how is it that Osama bin Laden can blow up the World Trade Center, according to them, because they still haven't proved that it was him yet, they just say it's him, right? Blow up the World Trade Center, mash up the whole economy, and they can't find him. Somebody's playing games, somebody is lying. You with me? Again, that's all part of the Illuminati's plot. That's all part of their plot to create enough confusion on the planet to scare you into accepting their solution, which is their new world order, which is an up-to-date modern form of slavery again. You with me so far? And that is the problem we're having today. Thus, it is necessary for one to come who is in your image and after your likeness to teach you the information, or shall I say, as we refer to it, is the outformation, so that you can see past their programming. You can see past the games that they play. You can sit back and you can realize that when all these natural disasters are happening, when the weather is off and all these different things, you'll realize that this is your time to rise. All the master always turned around and explained is that we must move out the way. We must move out the way and let them get on, because the war, or the Third World War that is happening right now, has nothing to do with you and I. It's got nothing to do with us. Our black people are going over there and fighting in the war. It's got nothing to do with us. That's their plan. It's got nothing to do with us. What we need to do is concentrate on getting ourselves together and sorting ourselves out and helping our communities, which is when you break down the word community, all you're really saying is a common unity. We must have a common goal. We must have a common unification. We must unite together. This is not something new. This is something that every leader that we've ever had, from Marcus Garvey to Martin Luther King, to Malcolm X, to Elijah Muhammad, to Louis Farrakhan, to Noble Drew Ali, what's the one thing they all agreed? What's the one thing they all agreed? Let me hear you say it. Unity. They all said that. That's nothing new. They all said that. That's the one thing that, regardless of what doctrine they taught, regardless of what they said, regardless of what philosophy, for lack of a better word, that they taught, the one thing that they all agreed upon is that black people need unity. You don't have any unity. And as long as you continue to disunite amongst yourselves, you will never be respected. That is the reality. We will never be respected. That's why other races diss us the way they do. Because we mess up each other. I was going to say something else, but there's children here. Right? But basically, we shoot ourselves in the foot. Okay? We are quite literally our own worst enemy. We are quite literally out of our minds. Meaning that we are out of our original Nuwaubian mind state and inside somebody else's. Thus, we think like them. We act like them. We want to be them. We want to be like them. We want to live like them. We want to go pubs with them. Pubs. You know what I mean? We want to do everything with them. We want to be in with them. When you're going to come home, when you're going to come home and start accepting yourself and start loving yourself, don't get me wrong, this is not a hate thing. If you're going to look at it one way, then look at it as a love of self thing. You know what I'm saying? It's about loving yourself, loving your people, loving your kind, loving your family, loving your people, loving yourself, loving your big nose, your big lips, your hair, your nappy hair, that's hard to comb. Loving it all. And your big butt. Loving it all. Because trust me, they love it now. That's why they give you Kylie Minogue. You're like, come on, Kylie Minogue? Is that taking the P word? Kylie Minogue? Okay, what's so bad with J-Lo? Because at least J-Lo is a person of color. Okay, but Kylie Minogue, you know? And they know it. And they know it. They know that. That's why and the racism is still going till today. It's still going till today. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all. It's only going to change when you make up your mind that you are fed up and decide to do something about it. Now, when we say revolution, we're not talking about like the Black Panthers and grab some AK-47 and start a riot in the street. Because one, all you're going to do is just mash up your own community, first of all, like what happened with the Rodney King incident. They had a riot and all they did was just mash up their own shops and their own community. So if you mash up your own area, who's going to suffer? It's you. That was stupid. Okay, first of all, it's stupid for a number of reasons. It's stupid because not only are you affecting your own areas, but two, it's stupid because we're not the one that's manufacturing the weapons. You start causing a riot on the streets, you're now giving them a reason to now shoot you down in the street. You're now giving them a reason to do it. Now they can justify it. Hey, we ain't got to make up no nonsense in court anymore. We ain't got to buy off the judge. You're rioting. So now we can justify killing you now. So when we say a revolution, we're talking about a mental revolution. The mind. Because that's the one thing that you can control. The information and the information that you have access to. That's why we put on these events like this, where Reverend York has allowed himself to be questioned for X amount of years. No other leader has put himself out there to be questioned other than Dr. Malachi Z. York, where he had to set up a forum like this, where you can come and you can ask any question you want pertaining to any subject. Any subject whatsoever, be it from the Bible, be it Quran. He said, come on with it, ask all your questions. And then when he came in, he tried to give us this thing called sound right reasoning, what we refer to today as Wu Nuwaubian. He tried to give us this thing, but we wanted to know about Jesus and Allah and Muhammad and Moses and Abraham. And so he said, okay, I'm going to teach you about these people. You really want to know? Okay, I'll tell you about Abraham and where the story of Abraham came from and where Jesus came from. And in every degree, you'll find that if you do any research, it all goes back to Egypt. And when you look down on Egypt and you study the science of Egypt, Egypt is you. Because if you go to Egypt today, you'll see a lot of straight-haired, light-looking Caucasians there, but they're not the original inhabitants of that land. When you look on Egypt on the map, Egypt is part of the continent of Africa. And so when you go there, the evidence is there. You don't have to take our word for it. It's not because we say so. It's there. You can go there and look it up for yourself. Or as the master says, don't believe us, check it out. So everything ever there, from the fossils that they found to the bones that they found, everything goes back to you. Everybody agree has no problem accepting that you were here first. The only problem that the only people that have a problem accepting that is us. That's the mad thing about it. Because I guarantee you, people don't have a problem accepting that, you know. They'll even tell you. They don't have no problem with that. It's us that has a problem accepting it. Because that's how well we've been conditioned. That's how well we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned so well to distrust our own. When any leader comes along and says anything, if it's not confirmed in their books, it doesn't say so in their dictionary, then it can't be true. Even when you look at the word dictionary, yeah, really they should call it a definition. Because it's defining words. You with me? Dictation is to do with talking. So they play word games on you again. Really, it should be called a definitionary. And when you look up a word in a definition, in a dictionary, they always take you back to the Greek. Or they take you back to the Roman, or the Latin, or the French, or the German. Okay, so I look up the word Egypt, they're taking me back to the Greek. Hello? I don't want to know what the Greeks say the Egyptians were. I want to know what the Egyptians say they were. Give it to me in their language. I want to know what the Greeks said, because I'm not Greek. Most of us here, including myself, got Greek names like Dennis and Tom and James and Gertrude. Trust me, I met a black lady called Gertrude, you know. You think it's a joke. Serious. Alright. We've got all these names. These are all Greek names. We're not Greek. But we have to bless our parents because they didn't know any better. Okay? But the difference is, in this day and time, you now have the opportunity to know better. So you should be giving your children spiritual African names that have meaning. Like Babatundi. You with me? Like Haru, Hontu, Sankofa. What else? I can't pronounce that one. I'm on what? I can't pronounce that one. But in our African culture, we gave our child names that had meanings. It wasn't because it sounded nice. It had a meaning behind it. And this is a concept that they stole and plagiarized in your Bible today. They tell you on the 8th day, he was named such and such because of an event or because of something that happened. This is your culture. But they give it, so what they do is they steal elements of your culture and feed it back to you in the form of religion. And then make you feel guilty if you turn around and say, I don't want to identify with the religion that you gave me. I want to identify with the original doctrine that was in Africa before you watered it down and made it a religion. And they'll try and make you feel guilty for doing that, saying that you're going to go to hell and that you're a blasphemer and you're this and you're a that and any other name that they can come up with. Okay, they try and make you feel that you're a blasphemer if you don't worship their God that they tell you about. Well, in ancient Tamaray, or what is called Egypt today, we understand that we accepted that you was the God. And when I meant that yes, we accepted as fact the existence of the Most High. But what religion does is they teach you to look for the Most High everywhere but where the Most High is. And the Most High resides inside of you. And when I say inside you, I mean all of you. From you, all of you. That's why when you read the book of Psalms, it says all of us are children of the Most High. The Most High resides within inside you, not out there some old man God character sitting up on the clouds. You with me? And they give you some Jesus so that we look at Jesus as some spook thing. And realize that Jesus was a man as well. Okay, and realize over time that Jesus is what the Greeks called him. If you go into the language and the culture that he spoke, his name would have been Yeshua, which meant savior. And if you go further on, you find out that your Jesus story was plagiarized from an Egyptian deity called Haru, who was also a savior to his people, whom the Greeks called Horus. And this is the degree that the Reverend Dr. Malachi Z. York was trying to take us through when he taught us of the Egyptian Church of Christ. All this information is there. That's why we encourage you to at least check out the books. What's the thing they say? If you want to hide something from a nigger, what? Put it in the book. But black people don't like to read. Well, we now have to wake up and start reading and start opening your minds and realize there's a lot of information pertaining to us that they do not want you to know. It is not in their interest for you to know, but it's the day and time, so they can't hide it. The only thing that can stop you from knowing is if you don't take the time out to go and research it and find out. Thus, it is necessary. This is why Reverend York is here. You have one sent to you that was here to prepare you for this day and time where we're supposed to get ourselves together. Where we now have the information to teach our children. Where we now know we no longer believe, because believe is ignorance. So you can believe something and be 100% wrong. Now is the time to start knowing again. That's why even if you go inside your Bible, it says, now the man has become like one of us. What? Knowing good from evil, not believing. That was back then you knew. So the day and time has come for you to start knowing again. And this is why we're here. Does anybody have any questions, first of all? Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to keep going then. Okay, so now, Reverend York and his mission, in this day and time that we're in today, here we are in the year 2005, still not respected, still struggling to pay bills, still vexed about the council tax, and all the other taxes that they give us. You know they're getting ready to extend the congestion charge, right? You know they're getting ready to extend that. So that's another bill to worry about, on top of the water rates. And you know next year the bus fares are going to go up again. They say they don't, but they are, because they always do. Okay? Question we need to ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Because if by now you haven't realized that these people really do not care about you, by now you should have realized that they really don't have your best interests at heart. So the question you should be asking is, what are you going to do about it? Or should I say, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to survive what's about to take place? That's a question where each and every single one of us should be asking ourselves today. What are we going to do in order to survive? Okay? And the reason why the Reverend is here is giving this information because he answers the what, the where, the how, the why, the where, the if, the how, the but, the all the excuses. It's here. The information is here. It's up to you to read and digest and study the information and learn it. And then not only learn it, but apply it. Because that's another problem that we have as well. We're so brainy, we're so intelligent, we know so much, but we don't apply it. We know so much, but we're still smoking cigarettes and marijuana and getting drunk and drinking and raving. Go to a dance, stand up right next to the speaker box, do. Go home, wake up, in your ear. 3 days later, you're still hearing that. And we don't know why. We're damaging ourselves. All that is done intentionally. All that is done intentionally. From the mobile phones, everything, from the television, from the media, all that is done to distract you from what you really should be studying. Can't you see the way the system is set up? You work 9 to 5. By the time you get home, in the tube, the person with their BO arm next to your face. You get home, you're tired. If you've got children, it's even worse because you've got to prepare the meals for the children. Then get them off to bed so they're ready for school. Next minute night. By the time you've done that, it's 10 o'clock, you're tired, you sleep, you wake up, the cycle starts again. You do that from Monday to Friday. Saturday, you go to a club. A club, you know what a club is? Flick of Fred Flintstone, where you beat somebody on the head with. So you go to a club to get your head beaten on with sound waves, right? Then Sunday morning, you go to church and ask God to forgive you for all the sins that you've been doing for the last week. One day you dedicate to God on Sunday, then come Monday, it's back to work and the cycle starts again. And you go through this whole cycle until you reach 65, and then they turn and say, okay, bye-bye, we don't need you to work for us no more, later. And give you some stupid pension, and still expect you, still working. Oh, they changed the law now, innit? What that means is, okay, we want you to carry on still being a slave for a longer period of time. That's what that means, okay? So what they do is now, that's all the cycle, all that is done intentionally set up in place so that you don't focus, you don't see what is happening. You don't see the game. You're not supposed to see it. You're not supposed to see it. You're supposed to just carry on about your business 24 hours a day, work. I mean, how many times have we sat down and we've asked ourselves, is this all there is to life? To wake up, go to college, then if I'm lucky, go to uni, because now they're dropping the university fees on you now. So you go to uni, you get a job, then you work in that job for 25, 30, 40 years, grow old, have children, and dead. Oh yeah, the debt. Oh yeah, you have things like mortgage and stuff like that. That's designed to keep you in debt for your entire life. Okay? Is that all there is to life? Is that all it is? Just grow old, have children, die, and that's it? And check how this system works. Even when you die, they still tax you. They still tax you. You're dead. They still tax you. That's how the system is set up. You with me? So, we realize now, for those of us that are really seeking truth, they realize that life, there must be more. There's something missing. This can't be the end all and be all, but we just don't know how to express it. Okay, so we run to the church and we go to the mosque if we're a Muslim, or we go to the synagogue if we're a Jew, seeking this sort of fulfillment because we feel that there's something missing. They feel there's something missing and that. So, again, it's hard because that itself is an institution that was set up as well. You know what the best-selling book on the planet is? The Bible. The Bible is the #1 best-selling book on the planet. Don't believe me? Check it out. Best-selling book on the planet. And with that Bible, they use that again as well to entrap you. And the way how they entrap you with the Bible is for you to sit down and wait for God to do everything. Or you're sitting down and waiting for Jesus to come out the sky and save you. Meanwhile, they carry on ruling. So and the thing about it is, this Jesus is not in the image and after your likeness. So that is still another form of you worshipping other than yourself. Okay, so you're sitting down waiting on Jesus to come and save you. When really, as we always thought, the helping hand you are looking for is at the end of your own arm. Or as they express it in religion, God helps those who help themselves. You hear me? They don't just sit down there and procrastinate and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. That's another spell again. So the question is, how do you break this spell? That's why the Master put out the books like Man from Risk. God misinterpreted. What is Nuwaubian? Whose God is responsible? Breaking the spell. You know what I mean? That's why all these books were put out, designed to get you to think outside of that mental entrapment that they've put us in. That's done intentionally. That's why all these books were put out. The information is here. There's now no more excuses. Because before we didn't know. Now the opportunity is here for you to know. And you do want to know, otherwise you wouldn't be here. The fact that you are here, sitting in this lecture hall, listening to this information, means that there's something inside of you that wants to know. There's something inside of you that doesn't accept that this is all there is to life. There's something inside of you that's telling you that there's something more. You can't explain it, you can't express it, but you know that there's something more. You know that there's something more. That's why you're here. And this is why it is necessary. And that's what all the information is here for. Thus, you have the Nuwaubian nation. Thus, we have this forum here today. We're actually present information where we're here trying to educate our people. Trying to educate you about you. So you can go off. The whole purpose of these forums today is for you to go off and research. And that way, once you do your research and you check out the information and then start applying it in your life, then you'll realize the spell. You'll actually begin to sit down next time you go to a cinema and you watch a movie. You not only you'll be watching it for entertainment, but you'll be able to see into the movie and you can see the programming that they're giving you or trying to brainwash you with. You'll see it. We won't need to tell you. You will just see it for yourself. Yeah. And that is how you prepare or you break out of that system or the condition that they have us in. And then once you start to mentally elevate, then you now start to take the proper steps to unite. But it has to start with the mind first. Because why is it important to start with the mind? Because you act according to the way how you think. If I control your mind, I automatically control you physically. Whereas if I can't control your mind, then I can't control you physically, because you're going to act according to the way how you think. Thus, these books are necessary to break the mental spell of ignorance. That's why he's put out books like the Holy Tablets, warning you of the calamities that's about to take place, like the natural disasters, like the children going crazy, going to school and shooting each other, the black on black crime. That's why all these things are done, to warn you of all these events that's going to happen, so you now know. You now know all these events that's taking place, and it is necessary for you to know. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. Now, what the problem we have is that now our people have become so comfortable or used to living in the system, they don't want to change. In other words, you have people that want to carry on being the slave because they've become comfortable with it. So how do you reach those people? That's a battle within itself. That's so hard. How do you reach those people and wake them up? You hear me? Because that's your brother and that's your sister at the end of the day. We need to understand and realize we are all we have. We're at the last point. If we don't get ourselves together now, we're gone. We're gone. We are all we have. The only people out there that care about you is you. I know that's hard to accept, but that is a reality. The only people that care about you is you. So now we have to get ourselves together. We have to unite. Everybody said that. As I said earlier, that's nothing new. Everybody said that. Okay? And that's why it's important that we now have to get ourselves thinking a certain way. We'll set up our own communities, set up our own businesses, start working for self. But most of all, you know what I want to positive? Start loving yourself. Because there's enough of us that don't love ourselves. Start loving yourself. Start loving salt and kind. And don't let nobody make you feel guilty for loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. That's another spell. They try and make you feel guilty for that. Try and call you a racist. Give you a name. Racist. Racism. Still there. Try and make you feel guilty. That done with. We're going to be proud of what we look like. We're going to start loving our ears and our noses and our lips and our figures and stuff. We're going to start loving who and what we are. We're going to start doing that. It's about time. The day and time has come. No more games. No more games. It's time to get up. It's time to start teaching. It's time to start teaching our children. Help them with their homework. You know what I'm saying? Don't just buy them a Nintendo and fling them in front of the television and leave the games to program them. You're just changing, shifting the programming from the television to the video game. It's still the same programming. Now, I'm not saying don't buy your children no games, okay? But balance it. Balance it. You know what I mean? Don't just, it's about balance. We as a people have a tendency to go from one extreme to another. Either we're too militant or we're too passive. It's the right balance. There's a balancement of both. If you're too militant, you'll make too many enemies and end up getting killed. If you're too passive, people will walk all over you. You hear me? So you must strike a balance. That's what Nuwaubian is about, balancement. You must know when to use the negative side and when to use the positive side of your nature. It's a balancement of both. Why? Why is it a balancement? As I just explained, you must have both of those natures were put there for a reason. Whether you want to say God or Allah or what have you, both of those sides, those natures was put there for a reason. And they condition you to be one or the other. Either way, to go to either extreme will cause you problems. If you're too good, you get walked all over. If you're too negative, you make too many enemies and eventually you'll be taken out. So you must have a balancement of both. And this is what we taught in ancient Samurai, which is why they gave you the mask of the adversaries, where they showed you the mask of Haru, and who the Greeks refer to as Horus, and the mask of Setuk, who the Greeks refer to as Set. And that was showing you that you must have a balancement between the human nature. You must learn to balance out your nature. You had both, the positive and the negative. And this is a principle that we taught in ancient Samurai, where you had both of those natures, and you utilized each side of your nature depending on the people or the situation that you were in at that day and time. That's why it was necessary. You with me? So now, when we see what's happening in this day and time, here we are, 2005, they're making their plans, right? You have the Illuminati that they're performing, they have their agendas, okay? The monetary system, the penal system, it's all the political system, all these agendas have been put in place. They've been put in place so that they establish control, okay? You have all your different alternatives, that's part of their New World Order, okay? The alternatives was to go underground, which is why you see them now start building all these shopping malls. These big shopping malls that take them out of the sun because they realize that the planet itself is warming up. The planet is what they call global warming. Okay? But that failed because even if they go underground, they're still going to be on the planet. You with me? Then you have alternative wars, alternative one, right? You can research this. Don't check me out. You have alternatives 1, 2, and 3. Alternative 1 is what you see with your wars that's taking place. Okay? Your mass genetic suicide, or what they refer to as genocide, where they give you things like acquired immune deficiency syndrome, aka AIDS. Okay? Where they have all these diseases out there. The Central for Disease Control. Why the Center for Disease Control? Why not the Center of Disease Cure? Why control? What are you looking to control it for? Shouldn't you be looking to eradicate it if you care? Because they don't care, they want to control it. Further research will tell you they're the ones that manufactured it anyway. It's all there. Okay? So now, what you have to realize is that with all these different alternatives that's taking place, they're now down to alternative 3, which is to evacuate the planet altogether, which is why NASA is spending billions upon billions of dollars setting men in space, setting up space stations. Why are you concerned with what's happening on Mars and Jupiter and so forth when the planet Earth you're living on has so many problems? The planet you're living on has so many different problems. Why are you concerned about what's happening with Mars and Jupiter and Venus and Uranus? The reason why they're so concerned is because they don't plan on staying here. That's the reality. They don't plan on staying here. They already have bases set up on Mars, where they'll transport selected group of people that they refer to as the brain team, okay, to build up all these different colonies, all these different biospheres. And when you break down the word biosphere, you're basically saying a biological atmosphere, like what they're showing you in Central Park. They actually have an atmosphere, an artificial environment, which they've set up. And that's what they were showing you in the movie Total Recall. Okay, where they have biospheres and different things set up on the planet Mars, where they can transport their people there, because they don't plan on staying here. The question you should be asking, where do you and I fit in these plans? I tell you, the Master has been teaching for years. They don't care about you and I. They don't care about you and I. You do not have a part in their plan. They're doing all these different things to prepare themselves for what's about to take place. So now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when these calamities take place? We're looking at the one that happened in India the other day. What's going to happen if one... Do you know what would happen if an earthquake or something was to lick England? Do you know what would happen? Tony Blair is cool because he already has his underground bunker. The Queen is cool because she has her underground bunker. You understand what I'm saying? They're cool. They're already set up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where's your underground bunker? Or should I say, where's our underground bunker? Why have we got together and set up one? Just in case something like that could happen. Because it could happen. They're already telling you that London has a problem with flooding. So what happens if a tidal wave was to come and hit London? Where would you go? Where would you run to? Where would your families run to? They've already got certain things set up in place. We haven't. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why it's necessary. That's why we have to wake up. That's why we have to wake up, because we realize what is taking place on the planet. Because we are all we have. We are all, this is it. If we don't get ourselves together, it's over. These people do not plan, they're not thinking about you and I. And that is the harsh reality. Okay, I've got a couple more minutes before my lecture finishes. Does anybody have any questions pertaining to this forum or the last forum that we spoke about? Go. Mm-hmm.
There is something that comes with
Uh-huh.
called the law of creation.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And it's coming from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's telling us that we need to get out of England.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get out of places, you know, where the white man has put us and go
Right.
to Africa.
Uh-huh.
Right? That's coming out of the law of creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from the Congo,
Right.
right? We can't, we'll be massacred in this country,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to find these out.
Okay.
Yeah? Also,
Sorry, go on.
you're teaching about African, you know, names and stuff. But why have you not changed your name?
I have.
You have, but you've
I
got
have.
Dennis Brown up there.
Yes, that's the name that my parents gave me.
Yeah.
But once you enter the organization, you do take on an Egyptian name.
Mm-hmm.
My Egyptian name is Gayen Nefru Ankh, which means the act of good living.
Yes.
But
And it connects you to the Creator, who you came from. When you have
well,
the African
not so much
name.
in the name itself, it's more the meaning behind the name and how sincere I am in actually practicing our African doctrines that makes that connection.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you don't practice it, it's just a word.
Okay, don't you think you should use your African name?
I do use it, but there's a time and a place for that. Dennis Brown was put for a reason.
What's that reason?
But okay, well, first of all, let me address your first questions first about the solution and how we can address the solution. Yeah. First of all, most black people here are not even ready to make that journey back to Africa because they're so caught up in the system here. Yeah, like I said earlier, the first one is about breaking the mental spell. Yeah, now it's going to be hard for us to go back to Africa and unite with our brothers and sisters in Africa if we're not thinking right. Like I said earlier on, the mental spell has to be broken. Once the mental spell is broken, then we'll be thinking on a level of where we can take ourselves out of here and, if necessary, go back to Africa or anywhere else on the planet because the whole planet is ours. We're indigenous to the whole planet. So it doesn't matter where we go. We can go America or Russia or Cuba or Australia because as indigenous people of the entire planet, anywhere we go is our home. But having said that, though, yes, Africa is the father's land, the land of our forefathers. You with me? But having said that, though, the mental spell has to be broken.
Africa is ours, right?
The whole world is ours.
Africa is ours, okay? So therefore, we don't need to change our... Okay, we do need to change our mental mind. But, you know, nobody can dictate to us that, you know, we can't go back to Africa because our mental state isn't right. But I do agree with you.
Go on.
We do need to learn certain things. We need to go back to African spirituality, right? In order, because that is the way forward. I know your leader is in jail at the moment.
That's correct.
Yeah? Which is a pity because he has taught you all well, right? And but there's just one thing left, and unfortunately, that is the law of creation, which will teach you everything that you need to know.
So, okay, according to what you're saying, shouldn't the first thing be to inform our people of the law of creation? Which is the point that whether we call it the law of creation or what have you, but the first thing is actually get the information out there to our people first. It don't make no sense if a person is completely ignorant to that. And like I said earlier, one of the problems that we're having is that we have a lot of our people have gotten to a point where they don't want to know. How do we reach those people? That's a question that we now have to ask ourselves, because you have some people that are comfortable living in the system. Whenever you try and speak to them about any form of spirituality whatsoever, they're just not interested. They're more concerned about the bling bling lifestyle. How do we reach those people? Because they are brothers and sisters as well.
Yeah. There are people who will never come out of this country, no matter what. Even if they're going to, you know, even if they see the mothers and fathers and their children getting killed, they'll say, this is where I belong, right? Yeah. But, yeah, we need to teach them. And
that's right.
In Birmingham, we do have the law of creation.
Okay.
So if people want to know about the law of creation, we will be coming to London for a seminar.
Okay.
Yeah?
Well, part of our solution would, this will be my final point before I wrap up this lecture. Part of our solution is what we refer to as Nuwaubian, which is basically about breaking the mental spell of ignorance. We have to first of all clarify that this is not a dictatorship. We're not here to dictate and say, you must, you must, you must, you must. That doesn't work. We're just here to present the outformation, as we like to say, and then what you do from that point is up to you. You can either come in and build, or you can reject it, or you can stay on the out. It's your choice. We don't believe in dictating or forcing our opinions, because then that's the mistake that religion made. And we realize that religion is not helping us in this day and time. Okay, but Nuwaubian is not about dictatorship. It is a choice. It is about, because before the problem that we had as a people was that we didn't know. We was uninformed. So what happened is that we're now here to present this information so that you can know again. Now, once you start knowing, what you do from that point is down to you.
Time is short.
Time
is very, very short.
Time has run out.
And we have, you're right, and we're not talking about religion when we're talking about the law of creation.
I know, I'm not saying you are.
It's the original, okay? It's the original, okay.
No problem. Okay. All right then. Well, as I say, well, thank you very much for doing our talk. Okay, we'll now be having another talk coming up on stage within the next few moments. But I'd like to say once again, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of Culture Day. Thank you.